Hi everybody, Miscellaneous here and welcome back to my channel. This is where I take you to see offbeat, interesting and quirky tourist attractions. And today I've been to the delight that is Painshill Park in Surrey. Now this is easily accessible from London, but I did not know about the existence of it until a Facebook friend posted something about it. And then I felt compelled to come and visit and have come back several times since then. Painshill Park was created in the 18th century by Charles Hamilton, though he was a gentleman who'd done his grand tour of Europe, as men from his station in life were expected to do. He was very much inspired by the architecture and the gardens he saw there and set about creating his own landscape garden, and in doing so created living pictures. This place has changed hands several times since then, and after the Second World War it stood derelict. It is only since 1981 that it started to become restored and is still a work in progress. It is full of follies and a man-made lake. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, don't forget to click the subscribe button and don't forget to click the notifications bell. Come and take a walk in my shoes and I will show you the beautiful twinkling Crystal Grotto, I will show you the Gothic Temple and the Gothic Tower amongst other delights. I will see you in the video. Here is the map they gave us as we entered. The Honourable Charles Hamilton came to Painshill in 1738 and stayed for 35 years, until 1773, when he had to sell the estate due to his debts. He moved back to Bath. Here we are entering and crossing the River Mole. I have sped this video up in parts, otherwise it will be way too long. Charles Hamilton was the 9th son and 14th child of the Sixth Earl of Abercorn. His two grand tours of Europe finished in 1727 and 1738, and both times they ended in Rome. He joined the circle of Frederick, Prince of Wales. Now, Frederick, Prince of Wales, was the son of George II and the father of George III. Here we are entering the walled gardens, and these were initially used by Hamilton for him to grow and experiment with trees, shrubs and flowers for his landscape. Nowadays, events do take place in the gardens next door. I've seen film nights advertised and comedy nights, and wedding receptions can be held here too. I've been here before one year just after Halloween, and this shed here was filled with an impressive selection of butternut squashes and pumpkins and gem squashes, and over the wall here is where they hold events. Various details about the gardens are on the walls. I don't remember buying any pumpkins, they would have been too heavy to get back to London. Now, I came by public transport as I don't drive. I took the train from Waterloo, which took about 40 minutes, and it's a 35-minute walk from Cobhamstoke-Darbennon station. It'll keep me fit if nothing else. As you can see, now the walled gardens are filled with vegetables and some beautiful flowers as well. Here we are, heading through the trees towards the Serpentine Lake. Now, the Serpentine Lake was created by Hamilton flooding the River Mole. I have spotted a heron here before. He lives on the island on the lake. Muntjacs have been known to put in an appearance too, but unfortunately not on this day. A lot of the time in this video I've turned the background noise down, as I'm sure you don't want to hear us chattering on. Apart from our voices though, there wasn't much more to be heard. You would expect lots of birds to be twittering away in the trees, but the park is so vast that the sound kind of gets lost. Here we are walking past the vineyards. Now, you can buy wine harvested at Painshill. It's sparkling white and costs £30 a bottle.
They might have had a sparkling rosé too, but I'm not too sure. Here we are coming up to the ruined abbey, which is just a facade. It reminds me of a stage set. It's a front and nothing else. It was originally thought to have been built to hide the tile works and brickmaking kilns that were the principal commercial operation of Painshill. Could these have been parts of the kilns? We took a slow walk up to the Gothic Temple, which is my favourite part of Painshill. It was a picture of that I saw on Facebook that made me want to come here. Painshill is very popular for use as a film or TV setting. The current Netflix series Bridgerton is filmed here, the 2018 series of Vanity Fair was filmed here, and the 2009 film Dorian Gray was filmed here. It's also been used for pop videos. Florence and the Machine filmed Rabbit Heart here, and in this very temple, Ali Jones was photographed for the cover of one of his albums. Look at this beautiful floor. And the wonderful ceiling. It is supposed to look like windows looking out onto living pictures. George III visited here, and this was said to be his favourite view over Painshill. Look, you can see the Five Arch Bridge. You can see the Turkish tent. And over there, the Great Cedar. Look to the right and you can see where an illusion has been created from this bastion. You can't see where Painshill stops and the North Downs start, in effect making Painshill seem larger than it actually is. Now I've sped you up a bit here going through the amphitheatre. The plants are planted in different layers according to size to create the illusion of an amphitheatre, and we're heading towards the Sabine statue. The statue at the end of the amphitheatre is a replica of the Rape of the Sabine Women by Flemish sculptor Giambologna. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. He made that in 1583. This modern representation is in bronze. Famous people who visited here include future American presidents John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Also historian Horace Walpole. Now, he created Strawberry Hill House in Twickenham, and I wonder if he was influenced by the Gothic Temple here. If you were to go there, you would certainly see the similarities. The Gothic Temple was designed to resemble a medieval church. Here we are heading around the back of the ruined abbey. And we're making our way towards Grotto Island. The Serpentine lawn has a lovely sensuous shape and features a mix of herbaceous and bulbous plants. Many of the plants here are not native to Britain and were imported by Charles Hamilton. This is the Chinese bridge and it is out of order at the moment. I have crossed it before. It was Charles Hamilton's interpretation of Oriental style. He and his contemporaries knew little about China. It was too far away to be included on the Grand Tour. We had to cross via a temporary pontoon bridge, which was rather wobbly. That bridge was opened in 1988 by the Prince of Wales, who is now King Charles, and he's retained his patronage of Painshill. There was a bug trail going on here, and you do see bugs. We just passed a butterfly here. That's one event they had on for children. They also put on Easter egg hunts for children. Here we are coming up towards the Crystal Grotto. You will see a rockwork arch of oolithic limestone quarried near Bath. These always remind me of impacted skulls, which I'm told was the idea. This has to be the piece de resistance of Painshill. It is filled with mysterious passages, and the main chamber is lined with calcite, gypsum, quartz, fluorite, and other minerals and stones. They are held in place with lime mortar and embedded with crystals, creating dazzling stalactites. grant from English Heritage enabled the main restoration to get underway in 1988. As I mentioned, everything has been restored from derelict since 1981. And look at that view up to the Gothic Temple. Isn't that spectacular? Here we're heading away from Grotto Island and more impacted skulls. The grotto was designed to appear as a cave within a rocky crag on the shore. The 5 Arch Bridge is just over the way there. This is the Woolwich Bridge. I then walked along the south perimeter of the lake, the objective being to show you the front of the ruined abbey. I could perhaps have done with walking a bit further, couldn't I? I hauled this old picture out. Again, it's not as far enough down as I would have liked to have been, but never mind. We're now heading towards the mausoleum. I've also seen this referred to as the ruined Roman arch on my more recent map. You used to be able to walk right up to this and indeed kind of inside the structure, but nowadays it's all roped off. I don't know why that is, whether it's health and safety or conservation. There's another bug here, part of the bug trail. Events also take place in the Crystal Grotto, where we've just visited, and they include afternoon tea for Mother's Day, and they have a Santa's Grotto approaching Christmas time.
You can actually see what it's doing.
I know what you're saying, so I could use the phone to see me.
There's the Great Cedar over the way, and do remember to check out my blog. I've blogged about Painshill 4 times, and I will always be a writer before anything else. Here we are heading towards the 5 Arch Bridge. This place does flood, and I have seen the 5 Arch Bridge semi-submerged before in news reports. There's the Turkish tent way up on the hill. We're heading towards the cascade, and that was fed originally from Hamilton's water wheel.
I think that's the liveliest I've seen the cascade.
Nah. No, I can't see it much still. I can hear it.
This is where Painshill starts to become more rustic and less manicured as we head onwards towards the water wheel.
You should show my footwear.
Yeah, highly inappropriate.
Look at that. I can see beauty in the weirdest of things.
Those knotty trees really fascinated me. Nature always wins. Nowadays, the pumped water flow is about 3,254 gallons each hour, and the water wheel makes over 500,000 revolutions in a year. As well as feeding the cascade, it also provided water for the plantings. It drove 3 pumps which lifted water from the River Mole. Now we're in the Alpine Valley, which is inspired by Hamilton's travels through the Alps. We're heading towards the Hermitage. Charles Hamilton advertised in the local press for a hermit to live in this hermitage for 7 years. Legend has it was that he made 3 weeks before being spotted drinking in a local pub. I can't say that I blame him. As pretty as the view is, I think I'd find this a bit too isolating too. Did I say pretty? I meant to say spectacular. You know, this place is really magical and definitely worth a visit. We are now heading off to the Gothic Tower. It's built at the park's highest point and is 27 metres tall. It contains a narrow 99-step circular staircase to take you right to the top. As you can see, it's juxtaposed next to ye old pylons. I've sped us up considerably. On the first floor there is a cafe. On the third floor, a small exhibition devoted to Charles Hamilton. Unfortunately, on this day, the Gothic Tower was closed. Apparently vandals set fire to it in 1973 and it was restored, opening in 1989. Downstairs you have toilets. They are sensible enough to keep them open. Here's a previous photo taken from the upstairs window. Apparently you can see London on a clear day. I've never been able to see it. Here you can see through the battlements and the pylons. And here are the battlements. And out we go, and we're heading up to the Elysian Plains. These are a bit of a wilderness. We're now heading towards the Temple of Bacchus. The first time I ever came here, it was nothing more than foundations. As I said, the park is a work in progress. Bacchus is, of course, the Roman god of wine. There is a statue of Bacchus as you enter Painshill. As we found out, there is also a statue of him in here which looks identical. As we enter, you will see cardboard busts of the 12 Caesars. I should imagine what they aim to do is recreate these in plaster. The last time I came here, Bacchus was merely a cutout and not an actual statue. And you could see in, but not go in. Here is the man himself, and here are the Caesars. Look at the view over here. Incidentally, the original house built in the park by Hamilton that he lived in has long been demolished. One final look at Bacchus's bum. Here we have sculptured lawns which very much contrasts with the wilderness we've seen below the Temple of Bacchus. We are heading now towards the Turkish tent. Incidentally, the view from the Turkish tent was said to be Hamilton's favourite view. The modern version is made of fiberglass. They did experiment with draped material, but it couldn't withstand the elements. It was too flimsy. Look at the spectacular view of the Five-Arch Bridge and the Gothic Temple. Apparently the Turks besieged Vienna in 1683 but were defeated, and retreating they left behind their campaign tents. This fascinated Hamilton, so he set about recreating his own Turkish tent. Here we're heading past what I think are foxgloves. One last look back up at the Turkish tent. And we had to go and stand on the Five-Arch Bridge, which I have seen in film and TV. Well, we saw swans, we saw ducks, we saw squirrels, but that was about it in terms of wildlife today. that, guys? Yeah?
Ooh. Sorry, nothing to offer you to eat. We don't think you'd appreciate sausage rolls.
Overlooking the water, and we can see Grotto Island. So I've sped you up a bit through here. We don't need to dawdle. Here is the Great Cedar. It's 40 metres tall with a 9.5 metre girth. It's 18th century and is believed to be the largest of its kind in Europe. Don't just visit Painshill in the summer. I've been at all different times of the year and it's always wonderful. There's a plantation up the hill behind the Great Cedar. The trees were looking much skinnier the first time I ever visited them. I have a notion that if I was to walk to the tree at the centre and I'd be cured of all ills, I had to give it a go. You have to give good luck a try in this life. Heading down and you can see the ice house over there. Ice houses always fascinate me, and I always make a point of checking them out whenever I'm in a stately home or a park which has one. At least it was nice and cool in here. The light inside was flickering a bit though. It originally stored ice that came from the lake in winter. Look, the Super Dean couldn't even fit in here. He's 6'2". When the light flickers, hold on to your knickers and don't open your knees to feel the breeze. Sorry, I couldn't resist repeating that. Outside we have a wild meadow, which appears to be covered in daisies. Well, mainly covered in daisies. There are some other flowers here too, but I'm not a botanist, so I have no idea what they are. And as we leave, we come to the other statue of Bacchus. Painshill, I love you, and I will return.
Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope you've enjoyed the video. Come and see me soon for another miscellaneous adventure. Don't forget to click like, don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Ta-ta for now.